Good afternoon, John. I want to take a moment here and review the lesson we had yesterday. I also want to tell you it was a pleasure meeting you yesterday and spending some time with you, talking about your swing and kind of getting you back on track. I hope you did have a good round yesterday at Whitmore and everything panned out for you as you went out and played. So as we get started into the lesson here, what we talked about here, the overall main thought was one is in your backswing and in your overall golf swing. I know you had that sensation that you felt like the left wrist was at that non-cupped position or not bent or altered position at the top of your golf swing. And thus in turn, as you took the club back, you're making a full shoulder turn. Now, when we take a look at this here, one of the things I want to show you here, and it becomes a little bit more apparent as we look at this and as you can see it here in the golf swing, you'd almost see as you get to this point here, right from about waist high to about shoulder high, it's that right hand almost controlling the whole golf swing as it pulls it straight up to the top of your golf swing. So as you get up to the back here, up to the top of the golf swing, you can kind of see your shoulder turn. Still at about not necessarily at 90 degrees or perpendicular to the line, but you can still see we still have a little bit of turn. And from this position here, what happens is that right hand kind of pulls it all the way up to the top. We don't quite get all the way there, which if I had to kind of intersect your head there, it's kind of be about right there where you would be. Now, when looking at this, we look at your hands here, and it's that ever so thought that we needed to get up the parallel in order to retain a good position at the top, retain a good starting point to finish the golf swing, or a initial stopping point at the top of our backswing. But initially, what we need to remember and what we need to look into is trying to get to a position that we can then start the downswing with the lower body turning in, then the hands, the upper body, everything else following into place, holding that position till we create that ultimate lag that you always hear about, and then vice versa, releasing it into the ball, releasing all that energy into the ball, creating that distance, getting that right angle of approach into the ball, creating that right launch angle as well when the ball takes off the club face. So when we look here, this position here, initially like to see a little bit different. That's kind of what we focused on the whole lesson for. But as what we may talk about next time, and what I may say something to you as watching this here, is I want to show you just a little bit. We have a little bit of a slide. Kind of watch the legs, this knee, and this knee kind of slide to the right as you're starting to turn. And we're not seeing a turning of that right hip, but almost a slide to the left, and then we bring everything else down. So you can kind of see a bowing of the body here as we're coming into it, which in turn is almost that start of that forward lunge or that forward ignition that we have sometimes when we play baseball or play tennis, or we're going after that moving object. So, and obviously in golf we don't necessarily have to do that. But so we may take a look at that next time. But I want to see how what we worked on yesterday and how that takes into the rest of your golf swing. Now, when we look on the left-hand side, I just want to kind of show you here, what's evident here of the right hand kind of controlling, having a lot of forcefulness or a lot of representation in the takeaway is that look at the face angle of the club here. You can see the face angle of the club is pointing at about 2 o'clock, pointing down the ball. If I was to show you, let's say, let's show you Steve Stricker. That's the Steve Stricker at the Masters this year. You can see right here this is where the driver still the same. Look how that toe of the club is pointing straight up to the sky. Much better position compared to yours out here pointing the 2 o'clock region right out here. So a little bit better rotation, a little bit quieter hands, allowing the hands to come back, almost feeling that left hand being in control and the right hand just basically being along for the ride. So what we got started with and what we kind of talked about here in the beginning. I know you had said that you had worked on and kind of seen that position of kind of feeling that pushing that ball back or pushing that club back. So what I initially did with you is in the beginning, as I had you do left hand only. Now left hand only was, I know you said you kind of had a little bit of issue, a little redone of the elbow or something in that regards with the left arm to where it kind of still doesn't bend. We don't straighten it out all the way, but it still has a slight bend to it. So what I wanted you to do is left hand only, like we see here. I wanted you to see that full position where it's one piece. The right hand, lifeline of the right hand is right on the palm of the left, just kind of there as a brace in the form of a fist, like you see here. So what that forces you to do is to make that turn back, up, get that set. Now, what I was wanting you to turn back and do here, when you look at that position there compared to this position here, a night and day difference between these two swings. Okay, and what we're looking at here is just this position where you can see both shoulder blades are perpendicular to the line or perpendicular to the target. You know, as we look here, or facing the target, whatever way you want to say it, but initially perpendicular to the target line. Here's the target line, perpendicular as we see here. But the biggest part, what we see as well, is what we talked about was the left arm is at 10 o'clock. The club is at 2 o'clock. You can kind of see that position where on the left-hand side here, that club is in a lot different position. Less shoulder turn here, more shoulder turn here. You know, and when we talked about it here, we didn't have a big position where we couldn't make that turn back to that position we see on the right-hand side. So what I wanted you to do at the range even is left hand only, kind of feeling that turn back to 10 o'clock, feeling them shoulder blades face the target, club being at about that 2 o'clock position, just like we see here. And, you know, I want you to do just 20 reps. You know, you asked about what could you do as you come into that. I went 20 reps turning back to that position, feeling that position here, swinging back down into impact. Big difference there just when you see that turn. Turn up, making a turn back, then I want you to turn down into it as well. Feeling it turn up, feeling the turn back. 20 times, if not working up to 2 sets of 20 times. You know, I want you to at least, you know, try to, start at 20 reps, then build it up to 40 reps. Increasing that, dare I say, that muscle memory or that consistency of trying to turn up into that position. Now, as this feels comfortable, what I want you to do next here is taking a big ball in the backyard. And when we take that big ball in the backyard, both hands, light grip pressure with the right hand. I just want you to turn up to this position here and come down into the ball. Just two practice swings to every full swing, but turn up to here. Look at the difference between the picture on the right-hand side and the picture on the left-hand side. You know, by doing this at the house, big ball as your target, you can hit it in the backyard. Obviously, we're not going to hit a golf ball in the backyard, but I want you to turning back to that 10 and 2 position. You know, if we show you the clock here, 10 and 2, 10 and 2. All right, 10 and 2. No different. Nice and slow, feeling that consistency. Now, we also talked about using that position, using that weighted club you have at the office. 20 swings with it. Feeling that left arm turn up, left shoulder turning back to the chin, getting that left arm somewhat straight. It can have a slight bend to it, but keeping that left arm up to 10 o'clock, club at 2 o'clock. Getting to where you can do it left hand only, where it's controlling the swing rather than just the right hand controlling the golf swing. Now, as we see that there, night and day difference. As we move forward, just had you hit a couple balls in. You know, I put a ball up on a tee. I just, what I want you to do is I want you to turn back to the top, feeling that turn. Big difference already in that turn. Look at the change. You know, and that's just right there is your feeling that you have to make that full turn all the way back. Obviously, I still want you just to 10 and 2. But look at the difference here, which obviously correlated when we look here at the top. Look at the difference. Balanced legs. Legs look great. Body made a full turn, coming down into it. Look at the club head, making a turn into the ball compared to a little bit of that slide. You can almost see at that point of impact here, even here, look how much more now the hips have turned through compared to where they've turned over here. Not as much. Much better. We made that turn down, that turn through. Night and day in the golf swing. Even you can just see how everything else changes in this swing. Look at the difference. Night and day. I'm telling you, John, it's a great swing. I mean, it was just like we saw it click. Everything just fell right into place. So good job there. You know, when you're at the range, what I want you to do, I want you to pause at the top. You know, literally, you said yourself, you had that friend that kind of paused, so that's what I want you to do. Here, pause. Swing down and through. Now, as you do this, we pause at the top. I want you to take 2 practice swings. So if it generally took you 30 minutes or even 45 minutes to hit a bucket of balls down at the range, I want it to take you an hour and a half. Just for that simple point that you work on that, getting that feeling back, getting that position, knowing where you need to be every time you swing. All right? So by all means, if you have any questions, John, I want you to give me a call, 314-724-6539, or shoot me an email at michaelwyattgolf@gmail.com. Now, if you think anything, even stop by the range. You know, shoot me a text, let me know. You might be stopping by, and I'll make sure I'm down at the range if I'm not already there. So if anything else, feel free to stop by, let me know. I look forward to talking again, working with you some more. So good luck. Let me know if there's any questions. Thank you, John.